And now we join the worship service already in progress.
Enough on that. Today I want to talk to you about, do you trust God? That's an important question. Do you trust Him? Do you trust God with every part of your life? You need to ask yourself that. I ask myself that. And sometimes I find myself, and I'm ashamed up here to say it, sometimes I slip away from that. I'm a worrier. I'm a worrywart. Truth to tell you. But you need to ask that question. Do you trust God fully with every aspect of your life? And the Bible, according to Google, you know how Google is, how reliable. But Google says, because I didn't go in there and count every single word in the Bible, but Google stated, from what I researched, that it mentions trusting God 134 times throughout the Bible. Now, if that's true, I don't know. I'm only relying on Google. It's supposed to be smart, I guess. But it references trusting God 134 times. But in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not rely on your own insight or your own judgment. There's different versions of this in different Bibles. A lot of times I use the one called the book. And mine says, trust in the Lord all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Also, like I said, I'm a worrier. I worry on a lot of things. I can't help it. It's human nature. It's my nature. I found another verse that I thought would be good to go along with it. It's in 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 7 and 9. It says, give your worries to God, because He is always thinking about you and watching everything that concerns you. Watch for attacks from Satan, your greatest enemy. Stand firm when he attacks. Trust the Lord, and remember that other Christians around the world are going through the same sufferings. Everybody's got problems. Everybody suffers from time to time. Everybody's got issues. I got issues. My butt's back there, I tell you, I got a lot of issues. I see Brittany back there. She's laughing. But this verse, or this, everything I do up here, I base it off kind of life's little things that happens. But one of the things that this kind of touched me is back when I was attempting to retire or wanting to retire, it was hard for me. I was going through issues. I was down and out, struggling with the decision to make. I just had problems all the way around. I was depressed. And one day I had to get Randy involved. And I called him. Let me get this water, y'all excuse me. But I called Randy, and I explained to him what was going on with me. He said, meet me at the church the next morning. That's the kind of preacher we got. He didn't say, meet me later. He didn't say, come see me next week. He said, in the morning. In the morning, be there. And I was there. Y'all, your mouth getting very, very dry. But it took Randy to reel me back in. And if I remember right, he told me to trust God. Trust Him with all you have. And it took him to bring me back to my senses, because I was struggling. I promise you, I've worked since I was 13 years old. And And that's all I knew how to do was work. But I was down and out. I was ill. But it took him to tell me to trust God. Give it all to him, and it'll make your path straight. Basically what this here is basically saying. Give up your worries. You shouldn't worry, but all of us, we all have problems. I'm sure Joey, when he's planting in the spring, he doesn't know if it's going to rain or not. If his crops is going to make, if he's going to have that income come this time of year when it's time to harvest. It costs a lot of money to be a farmer. I know. I helped Teresa's daddy for years. I know what it takes. Farmers have got irrigation. We did it on dry land. Yeah, I worried. It wasn't my money. It was Teresa's daddy's money. But I still worried. But you got to put your faith in God to trust him. Basically, you prepare for rain. Prepare for rain. I think that was that movie, Facing the Giants, from the Kendrick brothers. That preacher walked down through the hallways, putting his hands on those lockers for the football players. And the guy asked him, "What are you doing?" "Preparing for rain." When Joey planted, he prepared for rain. When Chris is trying to sell equipment, he's preparing for rain. He's trusting the Lord that somebody's going to buy that equipment. Just lost my thought here. And Johnny, he just prays every day that Cindy is going to hang on to him. She's got to trust in the Lord to put up with him. I'm joking. I got to make a joke here and there every once in a while, here and there. But after Randy talked to me, it brought me back to reality. I still struggle today with retirement. And y'all young folks, y'all right now, y'all don't have a clue what I'm talking about. They days that I'm down and out. You got to have a purpose. Working all those years, and then you retire, and then you're like, what am I going to do in the morning? I stay busy. I'm a glorified housewife or house husband, washing clothes, dishes, cooking. No, y'all don't know anything about that. Yeah, that's right. But it's good. It's getting where I'm enjoying it. But I still have the funeral home that I can fall back on because I got to have something to do. I trust God to stay busy. But and Chris, I got about 8 pages of stuff up here, so I hope you ain't want to get rustic too early. I have to mess with Chris a little bit. But when y'all are going through difficult times in your life, are you falling back on God? Are you trusting God 100% to get you through that? Really, ask yourself that question. Am I 100% trusting God? Because God forgive me, but sometimes I question myself if I do that. And I pray God forgives me because we're supposed to trust him. Y'all have no idea how many setbacks or things that I went through in my lifetime that God has pulled me through. Because I do trust him wholly. Yeah, I question every once in a while, why are you letting this happen? But there's a reason. There's always a reason for what he does. So, when we were going through the disaffiliation process to disaffiliate from United Methodist, and we transferred transferred over to global, you know, we all had to trust the process. Randy was trusting God to give us the information that we needed to make our mind. The board had to trust everybody's thoughts in there on which way to go to best for what's best for the church. There's always something we got to trust God for. Taryn's about there trusting God right now she gets all these tickets sold for the mission luncheon. So everybody is trusting God for something. Don't stray away from it. There's a story in the Bible that y'all are familiar with in the book of Daniel. It talks about three young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. You know, they had a king that the king was wanting them to worship a golden idol. And they were only going to worship their God. So the king told his men, I'm going to give y'all the short version. The king told his men, throw them in the fiery furnace. They threw them in the furnace, bound, shackled. 7 times, I think, what the Bible says, the temperature. And the king's man went back and looked in the window, and he could see the 3 young men walking around there, uncharred, unscathed, not burnt. And he told the king, I thought we only put 3 people in that fiery furnace, but I saw 4. And he said, it looks like the Son of God. Those 3 young men were thrown in that fiery furnace. They trusted their God to deliver them out of that fiery furnace. Could you imagine being thrown in a fiery furnace? But they trusted God. God brought them through it, and Jesus was in there with them. Put that shield of protection around them. And those 3 young men had faith in God that he would be there and protect them. But that's a lot of trust. But that's the kind of God we got. Don't put God in a box. Let him do his job. Let him work in your life. Let him be with you every step of the way, because I guarantee you, he is standing right here beside me right now. I guarantee it. He's here watching over us this morning. I have no doubt. So when you're going through difficult times, place your trust in him. You may not see a way, but there is a way. Get over here to this other section here. And we go to talking about Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart means you have placed your hope in Jesus Christ alone. Nothing else. No one else. Put him first. Keep him first place in your life, and he'll take you places you've ever dreamed of. I'm telling y'all, trust me. Believe what I'm saying, because I'm telling you, I've been through some deep places. There was times when me and Trish got married, I never knew how we made it from day to day, from paycheck to paycheck. And then little Miss Mean Self Brittany came along. And a young married couple we might have been making $34,000 a year between the both of us. That's not a whole lot of money. When you got a new baby in the hospital, in the NICU unit, and you're trying to survive on about $34,000 a year. That's God working right there, people. I'm telling y'all. That's trusting in God. I lost my place here. It says, lean not on your own understanding. Our ways is not God's ways. We may understand how to do something, but God has got a better understanding. We just got to listen to him. And I don't read the Bible like I should. I don't know the Bible like I should. And God forgive me. Preacher forgive me. But we've got to rely on his understanding in his time. We may be going through something right now, and you want it resolved right now, and it may not be your time for it to be resolved. It may be 6 months down the road. But I believe everything happens for a reason. God closes one door, he opens another one. At some point. And when I retired, I threw myself into the funeral business. I love it. But I think God placed me there because I'm caring, compassionate. I try to help every family that comes through there. And it's just a passion that I have because everybody that comes through that door is family. They family to me, us. In all your ways, submit to him. Submit your problems. Give it to him. Place it in his hands. If you got a problem, just release it. Give it to him. Why worry about it? Is worrying going to help? I'm a good one to be talking. I'm a good one. Worrying don't help. I worry, but I know in my mind it's going to be okay. When I got up this morning to come up here and to do this, I can talk to any group of people, any time of the day. Some people say I'm a politician or act like one. I act like Jim Sheridan. But y'all are different. It's different to get up here standing in front of y'all. I had to give it up to God this morning. I was sitting at the dining room table, still reading this morning. Brittany said, "Daddy, are you ready?" I said, "I'm ready. I'm ready." I give it to God this morning before I left the house because I knew when I got up here, he was going to be standing right here. He was going to give me the knowledge, the wisdom to do what I got to do this morning. But submit everything you have to him, and he'll take care of it. Because when you submit to him, he's going to make your path straight. Once again, I can about promise you and guarantee you that. You might not can see it right now, but I believe it. Because trust me, once again, I know because I have been there. But everything will not always work out in our favor if we trust God. Sometimes we will face difficulties and go down a dark and difficult path as part of following Jesus. He does that, I think, to help us learn, to make us better. Because I come out stronger. I come out way stronger after I sat down and talked to Randy that day. Retirement ain't all what it's cracked up to be. I tell y'all something. And Jim's fixing to go through it. Not putting Jim's business out there, but I know he's going to be retiring soon. But he's got the deer processing to fall back on. You got to have something. Because if you don't, you're going to sink. You're going to sink, and you're going to be there talking. And a lot of times I'll sit there, just me and my little fat buddy. Nobody else is at the house, but just me and Jack. That's our little beagle. He's my little fat buddy. That little dog has got me through so much since I retired. Just having him, and Teresa, I have to explain, she don't understand it. And she's thinking about retiring at the end of this school term. But if I let her, she's got to support my lifestyle. She got to keep working. And I told her this morning, that little fat dog, my little fat buddy, he is a blessing. He has blessed me more than y'all realize. I'm going to tell you, just having him there every day. It gives me somebody he's like a child. He's like a child. But just a blessing. Lastly, waiting on God to take care of your problems. I'm not a patient person. I'm a long way from it. I like things to be done and done quickly. But having to wait is not one of my strong points. But we have to wait on God sometimes, because his time is not our time. He's got a whole different time frame. So as I proceed to close, remember one thing: trust in God, keep him first place in your life, and I promise you, you will soar to new heights that you have not experienced before. I do believe that 100% wholly. I do.